Welcome back to the Flogsville podcast. It is a solo pod this week. Unfortunately, Rabs couldn't be with me. Couldn't be with me tonight, so it's just me. We'll keep it short and sharp. It was a massive first week of finals. I've got the screen share going, so let's talk about these matchups. We've got to start with our highest scorer, Phenomenal, who's in phenomenal form, you could say. That's a really not a great start by me. But let's have a look at this matchup against the Burdens. It was a tight matchup. The VC of Marcus Bontempelli on Friday night. Wow, that got Tom off to a sensational start. Brad with Tim English as well, about 20 points difference there. And not much more than that in this game. So the Bont VC, big reason why Tom got the chocolates this weekend. Let's have a look. Christian Petrarca, the alpha dog, doing what he does best, getting the 100. Brad Crouch and Caleb Sarong there bringing it home. That's despite Brad Crouch having a 0-point quarter, which was bizarre. He was on 126 at three-quarter time. Did not touch the ball in the last quarter. So amazing there that he still was able to do that in three quarters. Quite extraordinary. And then Sarong just getting the job done, just Mr. Consistent, really. I think that's about 12 hundreds in a row for Sarong. So he's been a great pick all year round. In terms of Brad, things were looking tense on Saturday. The Hawks and James Sicily, wow. 160, did what he pleased. I think there was about a 50-point first quarter. It was a sensational game from Sicily, not only for fantasy, but in terms of real life as well. Himmelberg, disappointing for Brad. Obviously, with Brad having Took Miller to deal with due to his squirrel grip incident, it's unfortunate for Brad that he still had to carry a Himmelberg. Probably would have liked to get rid of him. But the one that really stands out, there's two pods on either side here, as you can see. It's Harry Sheasel for a 53. Just couldn't find the ball with Zeeble back and Clarko back. And then Jack Steele. Had a -2 last quarter. Thought Brad Crouch's 0 was bad. Try a -2 last quarter. Very unsteel-like. He's been on good form recently. And a 59 there. Very disappointing. So Brad really, with that 73, the 59, the big 160 from Sicily gave him a real good start. And it's just unfortunate that those guys have just let him down a bit. Cogs as well against Sydney. Just wasn't around that 90 mark. Like that seems to be his floor at the moment. Cogs, he's about an 85 plus in his bad games, which he'll take. But no, massive win for Tom. So he gets a week off, highest score of the round. Brad unfortunately goes down and he's playing this weekend, which we will get into. We've got plenty to talk about this week because Nick Daicos going down. We'll talk about some replacements. We'll talk about some captain options for this week. Taggers are back. We saw that on the weekend. My goodness, Finn McGuinness was amazing on Daicos. Just absolutely smashed him around the ball and followed him forward. He still couldn't get a touch. So just shows you this time of year when teams need a win, the taggers come out. So let's talk through my matchup with Sam. My boys got the job done, which was a pretty good weekend for me in terms of my players. I was tossing up between Bont at VC, into Merritt as captain. Had it all week, and then Friday night sort of changed my mind and got a bit scared by a Richmond tag, which didn't happen and was never really going to happen. So yeah, happy with Merritt's 128 in the end. In terms of, Sam, a bit unfortunate. He sort of had to chase a bit of a ceiling in Jordan Dawson. Didn't quite work out. And then the Josh Dunkley captaincy, who we brought in for Windhager, did not work. I also brought in Dunks. But we'll just mention, Will Day, fantastic last couple of weeks, still in my side. And Zach Butters as a pod. We flagged this in the preview last week that, Geelong and Geelong's a tough matchup, but it was Zach Butters of old. He was excellent. Lots of tackles, lots of marks, doing his thing. So Rowan Marshall was solid for me as well as a pod up against Max Gawn, outscoring Gawn, which was probably unexpected. Callum Mills tell you about unexpected with a 117 somehow. That's what he can do. LDU did struggle a little bit against Melbourne. Again, they've been very restrictive. We got that right last week in our preview, and then Sarong coming home for Sam. But the job was done. earlier with the Bont. 151 as a pod is a really good start for my boys. So, yeah, nice to get a week off. But we move forward to a couple of cracking semi-finals. This is this week. The Liberatores, Hugh having a big weekend personally, and congratulations to him. A new arrival to his family. So that's a very exciting times for Hugh, and getting the win here as well would have just added to the excitement. So massive congratulations for him, getting the job done comfortably over my co-host, the Rabbitohs. It's not a coincidence. Or it is a coincidence that Rabs can't be here tonight just because he lost. Yeah, it's just the way things have panned out this week. But yeah, Hugh with a massive win. So let's dive into this game and see who got the job done. Caleb Daniel, he started well, didn't he, Friday night? Kicked a couple of snags and, yeah, a bit of excitement there, but ended up with the 83. The Bont VC is the story as a pod. Yeah, just amazing game. 302 points. Thank you very much. And then Will Day, another Will Day owner. Very nice score and just consistent from Hugh. So a really good performance. Sam Flanders as well, 94 against the Crows in a loss is a pretty good effort away from home. So some good signs for Hugh. And as you can see, he's still got some cash on the bench with Chesser and Hewitt there. Darcy Cameron still in his side, who was able to loop a bit of Darcy Cameron action. It seems like. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, because taking the captaincy score. In terms of Rabs' side, yeah, just unfortunate. Mason Redmond did well for him. Callum Mills as well. But it was Jack Steele and Sheasel, the two S's on Sunday, really let him down, causing him, yeah, a big loss. And that sort of captaincy score, Tim English VC was good for him. Josh Kelly there, as we can see, as a pod with a 71, not ideal. So yeah, that's it. Season over, unfortunately for Rabs. Hugh moves on, and we shall do the same. Let's talk about the Smiths Crips because they got the job done, and this was a really tight matchup, knocking out the Crouching Lions, who had sort of found some form, both with a bit of a down week compared to other scores around them. So let's have a look at this matchup here. And a massive win for Liam. Let's go Crouching Lions. Lairdy there with a nice 100. Noah Anderson a bit disappointing for Liam, but the sick dog there as a pod, 160. Thank you very much. In what was, yeah, some below par scores really with LDU, Josh Kelly, Noah Anderson there for Liam, and still managing to pump out a decent score. Both coaches had Tim English VC. Rory Atkins against the old side, not quite hitting the heights of what he has done for Brett, but you've got to say Jack Steele there, if he gets just a normal sort of 80, 85, 90 that he's been doing easily, I think this could have been very, very different. So yeah, Zach Merritt as a unique too, maybe 128 wasn't quite enough against the Eagles. Still a lot of points there, but yeah, unfortunate for Brett, came home strong. He is done for the year, and Liam moves on to this week, which is exciting for him. A quick look at our secondary finals. It was, as predicted, the Hoffleberries getting the job done. The Keys overseas at the moment, not sure they're paying much attention to the secondary finals. King Kunta had a nice win. Team GC with the lowest score this week. Again, the B-Sharps also nice score. And Total Eclipse of the Heart really with a bit of the upset there, finishing strongly, knocking out the Guns and Rosies, I believe, or they might have a second chance in the secondary finals. But let's look ahead to this week because we've got some issues. Teams were pretty good tonight. Teams were good. No real issues apart from the Nick Daicos. Everyone's got him. What do you do with him? I think the great thing is that there is no answer. I think a lot of people, if you don't own Sicily, will go there. He's up against the Bulldogs this week, and we'll dive into that. He should go very well down in Tasmania. You've got the Doc if you haven't got him. A couple of guys in that mid sort of price range. Hayden Young, I know he's a Flogsville favourite for the wrong reasons, but into the midfield the last 2 weeks, getting it done with lots of tackles, bit of a tagger sort of type. Real Jordan Dawson vibes, I think, going forward for Hayden Young, potentially one for next year or the year after. Like his game, very Dawson-like in the terms of the size, great kick, can tackle and mark as well. So I think Freo have found something there with the midfield of Sarong, Brayshaw, and now Hayden Young. Just gives them something a little bit different. So yeah, exciting times. And you've also got the 2 games of Jack Zeeble. Could you bring him in for 2 games? We saw he scored 130 odd, looked amazing. He's on the farewell tour. He's got this game against Essendon under the roof, and then he plays Richmond in the retirement game. So could you bring him in for 2 games? They've confirmed that he's not playing in the last round. He is done. 2 games to go. He could easily be the highest scorer. But it's a massive risk. It'll give you a lot of cash, though, if you go Daicos down. So I like that there's going to be some differentiation in the teams with the Daicos news. Can you maybe bring a midfielder in and flick a DPP back? So lots of options for coaches. Let's have a look at this first matchup. It's the 2 best mates. They're going up against each other. It's Brad and Liam. Massive game. Let's have a look at this one. I'm sure it's going to be a really close contest. Brad's been in great form. Unfortunately, going down narrowly to Tom, as we've mentioned before. And Liam has sort of picked it up. We're a little bit worried about him in the run home, but the last 3 weeks, he's really been scoring quite nicely. So let's have a look here. Zach Merritt does stand out as a unique, and again, another matchup. He put a big score on North Melbourne earlier this year. I can't really see a tag coming his way. It'll be interesting to see what North do there. The Bont against Hawthorn as a pod, big flag. Will Finn go to him? I don't know if he will. There's potential. I think Connor Nash is probably a better matchup in terms of size and being able to deal with that. I think Finn McGuinness is maybe a bit small to play on the Bont, but we will see. That's going to be very interesting. And then the Saints boys there against Richmond, you feel like at Marvel, that's going to be a real points fest. Jack Steele to bounce back. But looking good there, I think, for the Burp and Burt Burtons. In terms of Liam's side of things, LDU will want to bounce back against Essendon. Harry Sheezel's an interesting one. With Zeeble clogging up that spot, can he bounce back? I think he just had a bad game. I think he'll be fine, but maybe he's one to move on there for Liam. And then those Gold Coast boys up against the Swans in Sydney. That's tough for Noah Anderson and Flanders. And then Laird up at the Gabba, who he loves playing against Brisbane, but can sometimes struggle in the heat. And then Brad Crouch should go well against Richmond. He's in good form. And then Josh Kelly versus Port. Tough matchup for him, but you'd say he'll bounce back after a quiet game in the Derby last week. So really, this could go either way. Yeah, Callum Mills there for Brad. I think he'll probably want to get rid of him or Himmelberg. Maybe try a bit of Zeeble action. We'll wait and see. So I think I'm leaning towards the Burp and Burt Burtons, but yeah, I think Liam could do it. I think the trading and, of course, captaincy is going to be massive this week. Let's talk about our next matchup. It's the Armour Craze up against the Liberatores. Huge matchup, 4th v 5th. Let's talk about this one because Sam, playing against him last week, he was a little bit unlucky with a few of his players. And just unfortunate, but he's got Darcy Parish there in another juicy matchup. And then the Shees as well. There's a bit of an issue for him too. Max Gawn, massive news with Grundy back. What will that do for his score? Dunkley there as a unique against the Crows, you would think would bounce back after his poor game last week. And Sicily stands out massive. I think Hugh would want to bring in Sicily to match that. And then you've got, your Will Day, the Bont as a unique. Will Sam try and match that this week? Big Ryan Marshall against the Tigers, and then Zach Butters, of course. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. This one is pretty tough to call. I'm sort of favouring Hugh a little bit. Sarong versus the Eagles should be really good. That's definitely in the favour of Sam and the Armour Craze. So, yeah, some really interesting matchups. And again, captaincy is going to be interesting with the Bont. You probably wouldn't want to captain him, although he's in great form. I think Hawthorn will have a plan. We saw that last week against Collingwood. They seem to keep things pretty simple under Sam Mitchell. They try and take the best player out of the game. Maybe he might do a bit of a move to Caleb Daniel, Finn McGuinness. That makes more sense to me to stop that ball movement out of the Bulldogs back line. He might do a bit of both too. They've thrown him around a fair bit. So, someone like Libba potentially as well. So there's a few guys there that the tag could happen to. It'd be very interesting to see what happens here, but too close to call this one. I think it could go either way. Let's have a look at our secondary matchups. It's the Keys still live up against King Kunta. We'll see how that goes. You've got to favour King Kunta, I think, with the Keys not really performing last week. And then the Guns and Roses up against the B Sharps. Also on holiday. We'll see if he finishes the year strong and gets into that prelim. And there's the sides that are through. Myself and Tom have got the week off, which is excellent. Still got plenty of issues, both of us, with Daicos and probably Sheasel for me. I'll probably look to move, but yeah, what a round we've got ahead, guys, and it is going to be sensational to see it all in action. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully no injuries to come out of it and some thumping scores. We love to see it. So just wanted to say that, and hopefully we'll catch you next week with more hosts on the podcast, and we'll have a look at the prelims because we're getting very close. We've got a trophy on offer. It's exciting times. So have a great weekend, guys, and good luck.